Hey guys, I'm Sdanwolf. Welcome back to the channel. Wanted to come at you with a kind of a late evening update video now that we've kind of got a little bit of confirmation from Frontier that they have heard us with, with the issues with that rollout and the DLC issues and just all kind of the really critical feedback they've gotten over the last 5 or 6, 7 days. And it was pretty refreshing. It was interesting to see them come out and say, hey, we know we missed the mark releasing that DLC when so many of you are still facing issues, and we want to make that right. We are going to be focusing on free updates going into the new year. So kind of leads me to believe like they're going to not push DLCs for a while and try to get everybody to a state where, there are a broader amount of people enjoying the game. I'm kind of like Joe from JLW Games. I don't have a lot of issues. I don't have a lot of crashes. I don't have a lot of bug issues, except for my water issue. That was the first one where I was really kind of like, oh man, this has hit me now. This has affected me. And I think you all, we've documented it within Wilderness Springs. That is really the thorn in my side right now. But crashes, no. Not being able to play the game. Like, there are people out there right now that are saying the game is completely unplayable. So I don't know if that's coming from a rig standpoint. Like, I have a pretty high performing rig, even though it's 5 or 6 years old. I'm not sure if it's coming from, a lower rig standpoint, or if it's console players that are saying it's unplayable. I've not experienced a lot of the comments that I see, not necessarily on these videos, but more like when you go out and if you venture into the forums or if you dig around on Twitter, that is where you see some of the most, probably like the most focused examples of, I can't play this game, I can't believe they released it in this state. I've just not come across any issues enough to where I've said the game is unplayable to me. So, that's just kind of one of those things where it's this game appeals to such a broad array of people and systems and computer specs. I think it's going to be a little tough with all that the game wants to provide to get everybody on a even playing field. I just think some people, just like with the original Planet Coaster, if you have a more expensive rig, if that is in your cards and that's an option to you, I just honestly think you're going to have a better time than if you're trying to run this on a laptop or, a really older non-upgraded system. I think if you're trying to play this on something that's 6, 7, years old, I just don't think you're going to be able to do that. And I don't think that is not that's not like restricted to Planet Coaster 2. A lot of games that are coming out nowadays are requiring more and more firepower if you want to get in and enjoy them like you see other people enjoying them. But back to the original point, yeah, they actually came out and said, we know we missed the mark. We definitely want to address this, and going into the new year, we're going to address it. It's going to be, we'll look for the next update early in the year, they said. Then, like we were saying too, this last update addressed a lot of issues. And I think that continues. And, another point that Joe had mentioned a while ago was just the weirdness. I think they'll always take the what's the right word I'm looking for? They will always take the experience of this title in launching new titles with no betas. I think I am 100% with Joe that if they would have gotten this game into the hands of more players with an open beta or with an early bird or with alpha testing, a lot of this stuff that people are saying, oh, they should have had this in the beginning of the game, this should have launched with this, I just honestly think it just wasn't tested enough. It wasn't put out to enough people to get this feedback. It's like when they essentially when they launched this game, it was launched in a testing state for all of us to jump in. And that's when all of the feedback started rolling in, and a lot of the critical feedback, a lot of the positive feedback. But nonetheless, it was like on November 6th, that's when everybody really was like, okay, this, and this is not going to cut it. And I think if you would have came in with like a September early access or let the pre-order people jump in early, I think that flood of feedback would have came, you know, obviously a lot sooner, and it might have been able to come soon enough for them to pivot some of these issues, like the dynamic motion on the raft rides. I just think that was something that they didn't know the crowd was going to want, and I think that was a pile on too. I think it's like when a few people pointed that out, hey, the rafts don't look very realistic. There was something that I didn't even notice during the play test. Maybe I'm not intuitive enough to kind of pick up on the little nuances of some of these graphical choices, but when I was play testing it, you know, there a week or so before the game actually came out, never even crossed my mind. But on November 6th, it started popping up everywhere like, oh my God, what are these slide physics? What are they doing? And then, you know, yeah, it's like when somebody points that out, you're like, oh yeah, these little guys are a little rigid and stiff. And why do the rafts not go up on the side of the slide? Why does it just look like it's on a roller coaster rail? And you know, I think that's something, if it would have been brought up in September, if it would have been brought up at the end of August, there may have been time. So basically what they're doing now to try to get this update out to us and fix a lot of these issues would have been fixed in September and October, but it's just with the game releasing on November 6th and not really anybody in the sphere of the gaming world outside of probably their QA testers and stuff. Now, like, we're in the middle of them working on it, and I'm sure this is not technically easy what they're trying to do, and I think it just, you know, I think it just blindsided them. They are, I think they're working at a really, really quick pace. I think they're going to all take a quick holiday break. They're going to get through Christmas, get through New Year's, and they might not even get to New Year's. They might come back after Christmas and start hammering away. But I just think, you know, with the not having that early access period, it has put them a couple months behind. And that's why I just keep preaching patience, patience, patience. I do not think this game, core-wise, mechanic-wise, it is not going to be recognizable come March. Probably come the middle of February. They are on such a fast pace trying to implement all this stuff and get these updates out and these patches. Like I said, I don't want to ramble on here for 30 minutes, but I just kind of wanted to jump in and let you all know if you didn't catch the live stream today. And as a matter of fact, what I'll do is let me play the little transition here real quick where the community managers were kind of talking about where, you know, the rollout was, you know, a little funky, little miscalculated. Let me roll that real quick, and then I'll give you my ending thoughts.
However, before we get into news in general, there is something I'd like to talk about first. Last week, we launched our first update and DLC for Planet Coaster 2. That's update number 1 and the Thrill Seekers DLC. Now, whilst update number 1 came with a plethora of fixes, tweaks and enhancements such as fireworks, glass pieces and the way our guests interact with flumes, we appreciate that by launching alongside the Thrill Seekers DLC, we caused quite a bit of frustration with our community, and that's absolutely not what we wanted to achieve. And we have heard your frustrations loud and clear, and that's why we're taking them on board, and we're here to tell you that going into 2025, our focus is going to be on free content updates for Planet Coaster 2. Whilst I can't tell you what the next free content update contains or when it will be landing, it will be early next year. I can tell you that is what our primary focus will be, and that's probably stealing some of what Rich is going to say in our interview in about 5 or 6 minutes' time. But I just want to say that ahead of the show. So,
and there you go, guys. Like, that's what I said. Like, their head is in the right place. I think we just kind of have to chill, let them get through these launch pains, let them get through these little bit of growing pains, and I think we are going to have a completely different experience come February, March. And, you know, am I excusing what went down? Absolutely not. I know you guys probably think I'm a Frontier shill and they do no wrong in my eyes. Guys, have you ever heard of a thing called Take Two Podcast? If you haven't, you would not say that Sdan is not critical. There are things with me and Beyond Drew on there, things that we have said in the past, and you know what, as critical as we have been, I'm surprised me and Drew are even still on their PR list. But you know, if anything you get from me and Drew, you get honesty. We're genuine with it. We're coming from a place where we want these games to be as good as possible. And I can just tell, you know, I've been around Frontier now for what, probably like going on 10 years, making content for them and covering these games ever since the Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 days. And I can tell you that they are wanting this game to be the best it can be. This, like, they don't set out to make a flop. Like, none of us intended this rollout. That's just how stupid some people are with their comments and the childness on on like Twitter and stuff. It's like, guys, grow up, man. Of course, nobody wanted this to drop like this. Whether this was upper management or the C-suite that made it happen, president, CEO, marketing, whatever, nobody wanted this to launch in the fuzzy way that it did, but it did, and they're course correcting it, and they are trying to make amends on this rocky layout. And I think we're going to get there. And like I said, if anybody says the game is unplayable, I think all you have to do is take them to Wilderness Springs. The game is you know, don't confuse your inability to get on a roll, which I can admit it wasn't easy for me at the beginning either, but don't confuse that with the game not being playable. Not being playable to me is you physically can't load up the game. And I don't know, like, you would have to show me some examples of you load up to the main menu and it crashes and just doesn't let you back. Like, I think that's a Steam problem. You may need to verify your cache integrity. I've never had any issues like that. If I did, I would tell you. Very minimal crashes, and plus I have my autosave on where it does it every 3 minutes, so if it does crash on me, which it has maybe a few times in all of the month and a half that I've been playing Wilderness Springs, it was just 3 minutes ago. So, you know, I don't get a lot of the unconstructive criticism. And then, you know, I understand too, people pay $50, $60 for a game. They expect to be able to jump in and play, but I have been able to jump in and play, and a lot of my people that I interact with have jumped in and played, and I just think we got to give it some time. We got to get some updates out, and we have to give the studio a chance to show us their vision and what they're trying to present to us in this game. So anyways, guys, that's just my 2 thoughts. Wanted to make this video for you, get it out there, and let you know what they said today if you guys weren't able to catch that Frontier Unwrapped, their last one of the year. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya.